One of the things we have these days is the garages that are attached to the newer homes aren't all that large, and if you're like me, you need a workbench to do things. Just little jobs, you need somewhere where you can place it down and hold it in a vise, or use your bench grinder to do something, or hold things steady while you drill a hole or do some tapping. All sorts of things that you need a workbench for. Well, in the past, in other houses I've owned, I've always had a workshop, always had a workbench, somewhere where I can do all these sort of things. But this house here, it's not a very, it's a reasonable sized garage. It takes 2 vehicles, but I've got a motorbike up the front of the Santa Fe, and so that's pretty much nudged into the front of the vehicle, and I got a little bit of space at the rear here where my new workbench can roll into, and I just roll it out of the way when I need to shift the car. I don't use this one very much, and I can just shift it over to the side here if I'm going to work on bikes and things like that, so I need to. If it's a wet day, I can move the vehicle out and roll this into the middle of the garage, put a tarpaulin down on the floor, and just work away happily without any problems. So I've been thinking for a while how to build a reasonably priced workbench. Look around online, there's all sorts of different ones out there, but they look to me to be a bit weak and they take up a lot of space. So then I was in Bunnings. It's actually an Australian hardware store, a bit like Home Depot here in Auckland, and I noticed this the sawhorse. It's made by a company called Rhino, and it's very sturdy, and it's from Australia, and it cost me $60 New Zealand, probably about $40 US for the saw bench, for the saw bench or sawhorse. So to make it stronger, I've gone and bolted the steel leg support unit to the piece of timber that comes with it. And then to give it more strength, I've gone and added these supports down the bottom and bolted those in place as well to stop the legs spreading with weight. It was pretty sturdy anyway, but I just wanted it to be pretty secure. And then I bought these roller wheels, which have got a 12mm stud on them, 12mm thread, and I've drilled the bottom of the supports here and bolted these wheels in place. The wheels can swivel, and they're pretty heavy duty wheels. I had a vise from years ago that I've always had on workbenches and just brought it with me to different places, so I managed to bolt that in place nicely. And I had a bench grinder, but I've lost it somewhere along the way, so I had a look at Bunnings for a bench grinder, and this was just a little cheapie that I wanted to get for just small jobs. It was only $40, so it was quite a good deal, I thought, so I bought that. Fixed that down onto the timber as well, and then to make the bench a little bit wider, I've gone and added a little block on the front. I've glued that on with PVA glue and bolted that through with coach bolts, and I've done the same at the back as well, just to give it a bit more width, so I can have a bit more space to do things. I might even extend it out a little bit further in the front if I need to in the future. It's something I can do. Then I put this little upstand on the back. I had a piece of plywood lying around, so I've got some brackets and attached a little upstand where I can hold things like my cordless drill and my angle grinder and just bits and pieces. Then down the bottom here I've attached some hooks just for some of my squares and levels and things that I work with, and on the end here my hacksaw, spare cutting discs and things like that. It has a little support that's welded between the legs to stop the spreading sideways, but I was wondering about actually bringing a piece of timber through here as well. I might do that. If I buy another length of this timber here, I can cut it off to go at either end and use the leftover piece to run along the front here. So I'm thinking about that. So the cost of this actually started to climb, like everything does. The sawhorse was 60 New Zealand dollars. The length of timber, each of those lengths is $11 each, so that adds up. The bolts, packet of bolts was about $5. These hooks here come in a packet. They were $5 for a packet of hooks. And the angle grind, the little bench grinder was about $40. The wheels were $15 each. So it does add up a lot of it, but I'm pretty happy. I don't have to worry now about a workbench. It's able to allow me to do things that I need to make. And just hope this gives some of you guys that are living a bit like me in a fairly smaller situation, and you still want to do little jobs and you need to hold things in place, and you want to do some of the stuff you've always done in the past in bigger workshops, because you could always make this a little bit bigger and put a small drill press unit on there as well. In fact, I was thinking about buying the bench grinder that has the attachment on it with the belt sander. I may swap that out one day, but for now this is going to do. So yeah, I hope it gives you some ideas. It may be that you come up with something similar, or maybe gives you some some pointers of what you could do yourself. So when I roll it away, it just sits behind the vehicle here, and the door will shut down, and so it means I can quite easily stow it. When I first was starting to plan this out, I was thinking about putting just a barbecue cover over it and leaving it outside all of the time, but I don't think I'm needing to do that now. It's going to fit into the shed quite easily, and because it's tapered, it allows for it to actually butt right up against the back of the vehicle, so that it takes up minimum space behind the vehicle. Well, thank you for watching. This is John from Auckland, New Zealand, and I'll catch you in another video later.